Would you look down here? Nothing lines up. That's not unusual. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Make It and Break It. My name's Andrew. Let's get this door closed before we start making some noise. Getting a late start today. Had some things come up in the morning that were not awesome to deal with. But we're back in the garage, and we've got skid plates and crash bars and crossbars in. We're gonna try and fix all this stuff in place now. So the idea here is that we get a relatively complete crash protection, bike protection solution. So these bars are very, very solid right now. They're actually so good, I'm probably not gonna create a crossbar between the two of them right now, unless I come up with a reason for doing so. But what I would like to do is create like a cross connection piece between these two bars, between the left and right side bars. That'll kind of connect them between each other, give us a full all-around bike protection scheme, as well as give us a nice place to mount the front of the skid plate. So a while back we did a video on skid plate mounting and our skid plate mounting design, and I'll throw it up here, I think. And I was really worried about how to mount the front of the skid plate, because the back of the skid plate has a lot of nice accessible areas. Like you got these tabs under here, which you can use to stabilize the back of the skid plate. These mounts over here, both of them, which is what this plastic mounting piece is kind of representing. But the front really didn't have a good spot. And you could either go in here in these little bolting areas and try and bolt something here and then weld it or bolt it in back over here or something. Or we can do something like this. You get a cross piece over here, and then you just run a small tab down here and bolt it into the front. So I think that's what we're gonna do, which means we need to start getting prepped. Okay, prep's actually done, believe it or not, and I want to walk you through the setup before I screw it up trying to fix it and do it, you know, actually put it together. So, here's our setup. This is our skid plate. We made this a while back. Check over here. Welding's not amazing, but it'll probably hold together for a while. These are our crash bars. We just finished them recently. And we're going to mount this right now in two spots. Now, I'm not necessarily sold on this being the only two spots. I'm 100% willing to add an additional mount coming from back there. But right now, we're mounting up here on the front with a tab off of this crossbar between the two crash bars. And then down here, off of this mount, which is a bent sort of U-shaped mount. And that one's mounting at our front, sort of right off the front of our oil pan. And that's kind of supporting the rear right now. I'm willing to go look at moving something from back there and putting a bracket down in. But for now, I want to get this thing fixed in place, and that's a lot easier to build that bracket if everything's fixed in place here and I have stuff to measure off of. So, fabrication plan from here is pretty simple. This is a stainless steel tab, or not a steel tab that we're gonna weld up into here on this, and it's bolted into our aluminum plate. And then we'll weld this crossbar in place on our roll cage or engine crash bars, and that should fix the front of this in place. Then we can pull everything apart, and then I can finish up the welding there and there. So we'll just tack it while it's in place here. Finish up the welding on the tube and on the tab, and then I should be able to reinstall everything and finish up this back mount. So this back mount, well, I'll show you when we get there. All right, front engine crash bar is done. Actually, like really done. So it's in this crazy position just because I wanted some easy access for welding these corners closed. But I overwelded this for sure, but whatever, it's practice at this point. We have our side engine crash bars, and they do fit on and off with this main spar. I was a little bit worried about that. And then our tab, which is not burning. All right, cool. So this can go on, and then we're gonna pop off the rear mount, and I'll show you what we're dealing with there. Oh shit. My hair looks terrible. Anyway, so the other side of this fixturing bracket setup is the back bracket for the skid plate. So the way this is set up right now, this front crash bar here is going to bolt into at least these two holes. I don't know if you can see that with the glare. There's a hole here and here. And I'll probably put a third one in here just for try and get all of the bending and stuff off of one axis. So that'll do it. But the back side doesn't hold on anywhere right now, and that's not really good for, you know, staying straight. So what we did is we made this little thing. So this is just a little U bracket, and it's actually made out of a piece of our 1/8" plate that we've been making our janky welding rig out of. And I mean, it's pretty simple. It's a piece we cut that was straight, and all we did was come in here on the back side here, and you see that set up? Can you maybe see that? We just notched it at a certain location. You typically want to do this with a grinder. I did it on the bandsaw back there, which mixed results. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but notched it so that we could bend it at 90 degrees without a press brake, which I don't have. You might be able to get away with bending this 90 just by hitting it with a hammer, which is, I mean, that's what I did, but this is a lot easier. So what we do from here is we're gonna go drill ourselves some holes in this thing that are actually gonna mount to the skid plate, the base of the skid plate, and then reinforce these corners again. Because we can notch them to make the bend, we want to reinforce them with some weld metal, and I might even reinforce the inside too, just to be safe and get rid of that extra corner where possible. And then we just throw it back on here, actually install our skid plate down here, and mark out the holes, and we should be done. So hopefully that we can do that real quick. And would you look at that? Everything is in and bolted in. You can see we got a couple bolts here. I probably am going to add the third one in there just for stability's sake. And then we end up putting down here, oh, sorry about the audio there. If that, we got 1 bolt, 2 bolt. So we ended up doing that just so we could get the clamping force off axis, so it wasn't on a singular axis. That way if we hit something back here, the whole thing doesn't want to twist nearly as much if you have bolts set up like that. So we did that on both sides, and you can take a look at this. I'll kick this thing. Basically no movement out of our crash bars and everything, and the whole bike shifts. So that's not a perfect indicator that everything's gonna work out perfect, but you know, it didn't immediately break off. I will admit, I don't know if I'm gonna show it in the video or not. First time I tried to tack this in place, I didn't prep the end properly, and the tacks just broke like as I was trying to pull this thing off. So that was a process, but this time that tab is perfectly in there and it's super strong right now. So everything seems to be holding up pretty well, and that's pretty much complete on our crash protection. I ended up with more material than I needed, but that's okay. I can always find some other use for tube, so we'll work that out some other time. And that's pretty much it for this episode. We've got our bike behind me here, mostly ready to go off-road and crash. Now we just need other things like finish up our light mount here and get some of the other peripheral stuff done around the bike that we haven't done in a while and get it ready to ride. So thanks for watching, guys. My name's Andrew. This is another Make It Break It YouTube video. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube things, and come and check us out when we do some more stuff like this. And we're gonna bring Doritos Locos back here soon, so that'll be fun. Stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.